Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about, and this is my current third video today. Now according to reports, the Premier League are scheduling a plan to resume games from the 1st of June, and they do want them completed within the space of 6 weeks. So this means obviously they can get, next season underway on the 8th of August. So this is, the new plan that the Premier League have come up with. Now, as you all know, reports came out last week, and, the Premier League, the FA, and the EFL had confirmed that the suspension had been extended until the 30th of April due to the coronavirus. Obviously, last week, Premier League clubs had held an emergency meeting to obviously, establish plans for the remainder of the season. And, they did confirm the Premier League is suspended until April the 30th, because prior to that meeting, it was suspended until April the 3rd. Now, I do believe on actually, the 30th of April, Premier League again, will have another emergency meeting to establish plans for the remainder of the season and that. So, according to what they've said, this is looking extremely likely that it's going to happen. They are going to resume games from the 1st of June. It's also confirmed as well these games will be played behind closed doors. And I think it's also something to do with a financial catastrophic, something like that. Obviously, with clubs with huge wage bills and stuff like that. So obviously, UEFA did actually, confirm themselves that they wanted all Premier League games and all domestic club competitions to be completed by the 30th of June. And basically, UEFA want the season to end. And, this is the main explanation why they had postponed the European Championships this year until the summer of 2021. So actually, this has been confirmed. But yeah, this is, it's looking like this is going to happen. But obviously, it's been extended indefinitely anywhere. So obviously, no matter what, the season is going to resume. So from a Liverpool perspective, they'll be very, very delighted about this. Because obviously, there was narratives in the mainstream media saying that, Liverpool could be denied the title if the season doesn't resume and that. But obviously the season is going to resume, so Liverpool are going to win their first ever Premier League title, and they are going to end their 30-year drought. As it stands at the moment, Liverpool only need 2 wins to clinch their first ever Premier League title, because they're sitting 25 points clear of Manchester City at the top of the Premier League and that. I did say if the season wouldn't have resumed, then it would have changed the context of the league and that, probably there was reports saying relegation would have been scrapped. Obviously, there was reports coming out saying that, there could be 22 teams in the Premier League next season, 5 teams relegated, in the EFL or FA Cup games would be scrapped to increase Premier League fixtures. So this is, what it had basically said. But yeah, like I mentioned, the season is resuming and that. So reportedly from the 1st of June, the games are going to resume, and they're all going to be completed in the space of 6 weeks. So I do presume there will be a lot of midweek games. But don't forget, the Football Association have got to, reschedule all the games that, of course, that they have postponed. So let's just put that into the equation. But like I mentioned, this coronavirus is very, very bad. It's very, very bad, this coronavirus. Just want to give you some latest on the coronavirus, by the way. Quite a few of football players have got it. Fellaini recently got tested positive for it. Marion Fellaini has been in hospital with it. Fellaini, don't forget, did endure 6 years at Manchester United. We got him under Moyes for just over £27 million from Everton. Obviously, now, of course, he is in China. He joined China in January 2019. Also, too, Paul Dybala has just recently been tested positive for coronavirus. He currently plays for Juventus. Don't forget, we went in for Paul Dybala last year. Obviously, don't forget, a couple of weeks ago, Mikel Arteta, the Arsenal manager, was tested positive for coronavirus. Obviously, Callum Hudson-Odoi got tested positive the other week for coronavirus. And, a lot of players have been tested for the virus in that. Now, obviously, it's looking very, very imminent that, Britain is going to be in lockdown. I think already, London is in lockdown, but I think it will be fully in lockdown, probably, probably sometime next week it will be in lockdown, because, this virus is getting worse. It's killed thousands and thousands of people, across, the world and that. I think Italy, have actually, got it the worst. But yeah, so I think it's looking like I mentioned, Britain is going to be in lockdown. Don't forget, recently the government did announce that pubs have been closed, restaurants have been closed, cinemas have been closed, bars have been closed, and schools and that have been closed. So this is what recently the government had announced, and obviously we're not at that stage yet where we have to stay in our houses. But I think that's going to happen next week, like I mentioned. That's definitely going to happen. But like I mentioned, a lot of football matches have been postponed. Obviously, not only football, a lot of sporting events, in general, have been cancelled, due to this coronavirus. But it is a very, very bad disease, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But like I said, I just want basically, the season to resume. That's all I want to happen. But the main explanation, why the fixtures in the first place got postponed is due to what happened to Arteta. If it hadn't happened to Arteta, I think football would have been going on now, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, so reportedly it's going to resume from the 1st of June, but a lot of Liverpool fans will be happy about this, definitely. So yeah, so that's the latest news on that. Obviously, I have been keeping up to date, haven't I, today, on the transfer news, of course. Obviously, Manchester United have got a lot of players on their agenda. Obviously, don't forget Manchester United and Ed Woodward have confirmed they will be making contact with, a lot of players and a lot of agents in weeks to come. Because, Solskjaer, has revealed that he wants to make around 3 signings in the summer transfer window, or maybe 4. But Solskjaer has come out and basically said, he thinks we need around 3 signings to become title contenders next season. Now, obviously, Manchester United have not won the Premier League since 2013. And that's obviously now 7 years ago. So the last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. And you can say in that particular season, Robin Van Persie had won us the league, reflecting on the amount of goals he had scored. But I think Manchester United can win the league within the next 2 to 3 years. We haven't won it for 7 years at the moment, but we've just got to hope it doesn't, it doesn't take us 30 years to win another title, like of course it has done with Liverpool and that. But revert back to what I said, if we can get the right calibre players to the club in the summer, I think we can definitely challenge next season. Probably not win the league, but I think we can challenge. But I expect going on into next season for us to enjoy a better season than what I've enjoyed this season. But I said the exact same thing at the start of this season. I expect us to enjoy a better season this season than what I saw last season, because last season was a huge disappointment. We finished 6th last season. It's not the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. I think the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era is 7th, and that was under the David Moyes era. But Solskjaer has revealed the 3 areas where he wants Manchester United to strengthen up. Now, he's come out and said, he wants to recommend a centre-forward in the summer transfer window. He also wants to recommend a right winger in, and he also wants to recommend a central midfielder in and that. It still remains unknown whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window. It does remain unknown. Possibly, we could still get a change of management at the end of the season. Now, there's still reports coming out actually, saying if Manchester United fail to qualify for the Champions League and we don't get any European football, then Solskjaer could be sacked as Manchester United manager. And, we're likely to recommend Mauricio Pochettino in. Now, he's the favourite to take over Man United if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is to be sacked. Now, I have actually been reading recent reports on Mauricio Pochettino, and it does actually say that, if he was to take over the reins at Manchester United, the first signing he would like to recommend in is Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. Now, Lautaro Martinez is actually not expected to leave Inter Milan. Don't forget, Inter Milan are looking for an adequate replacement for him, Lautaro Martinez and that. But, we've been relentlessly linked with Mauricio Pochettino. I think, what the club should have done is basically we should have recommended Pochettino in after the sacking of Jose Mourinho in December 2018, because he was our primary candidate then. But obviously, our preference was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and the main explanations why our preference was Solskjaer is because obviously, Solskjaer was a cheaper solution. We didn't really have to pay that much to get him in from Mull. We paid a couple of million to get him in as the interim manager. Then we paid a further, 7 or 8 million to give him the job on a permanent basis. Plus, Solskjaer did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. And plus, Solskjaer is a club legend and he was a great player for the club for 11 years. So they're the reasons we went with Solskjaer instead of Pochettino. But, I still believe, Mauricio Pochettino, he's a much better manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's highly experienced in the Premier League. He's really, really good at developing young players. My only element of concern about Pochettino is that he hasn't won out in terms of silverware, but he's well proven in the Premier League. He is well proven in the Premier League in that. Don't forget, earlier on in the season, Pochettino did indicate out he was interested in taking the managerial role at Manchester United. This is what Pochettino had said. And he was actually in negotiations with the football club over taking over and that. But like I mentioned, Pochettino enjoyed obviously 5.5 years with Tottenham. Did actually really, really well. So you've got to give him a lot of credit for that. You've got to give Pochettino a lot of credit for that, to be quite honest with you, because he did well in that 5.5 year tenure. And I think you can say that Tottenham did make a big mistake by getting rid of Mauricio Pochettino. They made a big mistake, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, he's a very, very good manager, is Pochettino. Obviously, it wouldn't be until the end of the season anyway if we was to recommend Pochettino in, so we could avoid paying any compensation. He's been linked with quite a few managerial roles as Pochettino, but Pochettino did say after his sacking from Tottenham last year, this is what he said, he wanted an immediate return to management, and I think he did say he wants to, continue managing in the Premier League. At the moment, Pochettino has managed a total of 3 clubs. Obviously, he managed Espanyol, that's where he began his managerial career. He also managed Southampton. He actually, got Southampton, to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. And like I mentioned, he had 5.5 years with Tottenham. Don't forget, he progressed Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final last season, did Mauricio Pochettino on that. And if Man United were to recommend him in, he would be our 5th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. Of course, Solskjaer's our 4th manager at the moment, 4th permanent manager, because the club have already sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era. Man United are not really known for the sacking football club. Like I mentioned, Moyes went after like 8 or 9 months. Obviously, we knew that obviously he was never going to be the right man for Manchester United, and obviously, Ferguson was at fault for ever recommending David Moyes in at the time. Obviously, Moyes only managed to bring 2 players in, and those players he brought in were Juan Mata, who's still here, and of course he brought Marion Fellaini in. Obviously, after Moyes, we got Louis van Gaal in, and obviously, we thought it'd been totally comparison under Van Gaal, but that wasn't the case. We did win the FA Cup under Van Gaal, and, Van Gaal, did recruit a hell of a lot of players, and he spent quite a lot of money at the football club, did Louis Van Gaal. There's still players here now from the Van Gaal. You've still got Martial, who Van Gaal brought in. You've still got Luke Shaw, who Van Gaal brought in, and that. Obviously, Van Gaal brought players like Falcao in, Di Maria, Memphis Depay, Schneiderlin, Sebastian Schweinsteiger. They're all the players that Louis van Gaal had brought in. But most of them have gone, like I mentioned. Obviously, after Van Gaal, we got Jose Mourinho in. Jose Mourinho enjoyed 2.5 years at the club. He's enjoyed the longest tenure with Man United as Jose Mourinho since the Alex Ferguson era, and he recruited a hell of a lot of players in, did Jose Mourinho, and obviously, the vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's, and that Jose Mourinho, I think, spent, was it around £400 million at the football club. But, he did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season, but I give you the main explanations why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, he had bad disputes with the top players, and the board weren't backing the signings that I wanted to recommend in the summer of 2018. But I think from my own perception anyway, we recommended Jose Mourinho in too late and that. But like I said, I think Man United should give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at least another season at the football club. And I'll give you now the main explanations why I think Solskjaer deserves another season at Manchester United. Because obviously, you got to give him credit because we're in a good run of form now. We are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. In this 11-game unbeaten run, we have won 8, drawn 3, we've scored 29 goals, we've only conceded 2 goals. And we've kept around 9 clean sheets, so we're also keeping a lot of clean sheets, which is very, very good to see. And this is our best vein of form since Solskjaer, was the interim manager and that. So that's one of the reasons, why I would keep Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Also, to take into account this season, our record against the Big Six sides has been exceptional. Wasn't so good against the elite opposition last season, but this season it's been totally comparison. I think we've registered like 17 points this season against the big six sides. So also got to credit him for that. And also take into account Solskjaer has progressed us to the FA Cup quarter-final. That's for the sixth season on the trot, by the way. We've got to the quarter-finals of the competition. And also he has progressed us to the last 8 of the Europa League. So basically looking at it, the FA Cup and the Europa League is a chance for, getting some silverware on the board. It's a chance for, getting some silverware on the board. So let's just put that into the equation. And, the league's a priority for us because, we can still finish in that top 4. We can still finish in that top 4. So let's just put that into the equation. We are only 3 points behind top 4. But obviously, 5th place is a Champions League spot because Manchester City are banned from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons. But like I mentioned, I don't think Solskjaer will invoke Ferguson's legacy, but I don't think any manager will invoke Ferguson's legacy. Obviously, Ferguson endured, 26, 27 years at Man United. He was a long-serving manager. When we recommended him in from Aberdeen, he didn't win out in his first 4 years. But look what he went and accomplished when he didn't win out. Look what he went and accomplished, after that 4 years without winning anything. It was just absolutely unbelievable. So, got to give him a lot of credit for that. But I don't think any manager, like I mentioned, will invoke Ferguson's legacy at Manchester United. Let's just confirm that the vote. But like I mentioned, Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now over a year. He's been here for, 15 months. He's been permanent manager for a year. So, yeah, and, I would give him more time at the football club. And obviously, if it doesn't work out next season, then I would get rid of him. Then I would recommend a change of management, definitely in that. But analysing it overall this season, like I've mentioned, there hasn't only been problems with the management of the club. Obviously, a lot of United fans this season, have had a lot of doubts about the club's ownership, the Glazers. The Glazers have been here since 2005, so they've been here 15 years now. Obviously, there's a lot of United fans have been criticising Ed Woodward. Also, we've been very sceptical about the board. So let's just put that into the equation. But as you all know, the Glazers and Ed Woodward have been talking a lot this season. Obviously, the Glazers have come out and recently said they're willing to back Solskjaer. Ed Woodward is willing to back Solskjaer. And a lot of our players are still willing to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. So that's obviously, very, very good in that. So, yeah, so as you all know, the players Manchester United have been linked with. I've kept you up to date today, obviously, with the players that Man United have been in for. Obviously, I've kept you up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, there's been reports actually, saying as well that the coronavirus pandemic can affect, clubs' transfer businesses this summer. Now, maybe we might not get Jadon Sancho due to the coronavirus. This is what it's basically said. Obviously, the Daily Express did report out yesterday saying that Jadon Sancho wants a transfer completed in July. And I think Man United is still his actual preference. But, there's been a number of clubs that have expressed their interest in Jadon Sancho. Obviously, Man United, Chelsea actually, said they was willing to pay the £120 million that Dortmund are demanding. Obviously, Liverpool have also been in for him. It's confirmed today that Jurgen Klopp has held talks with Liverpool's owners FSG over transfers for Jadon Sancho and Timo Werner. PSG, Madrid, a lot of clubs have been in for Jadon Sancho and that. Now, obviously, we would be willing to pay the 100 million they're demanding because they want at least 100 million pounds for him. So that means that would make Jadon Sancho a record signing in the Premier League. And it'd also make him our most expensive signing. And I think it did say we're willing to offer Jadon Sancho around £200,000 a week. Now, obviously, the Borussia Dortmund CEO, he came out the other week and he basically said, the Borussia Dortmund CEO, that he reiterated if Jadon Sancho still wants to leave, they will negotiate a transfer. And Sky in Germany did report out back in February that Jadon Sancho wants to leave Borussia Dortmund at the end of the current season and that. But I think he just basically wants to rejuvenate his career, and I think it would be beneficial for him to come back to the Premier League, Jadon Sancho. Now, obviously, he did serve a couple of years at Man City, but never really got assured any first team opportunities at Man City, and this is the main explanation why I left Manchester City to join Borussia Dortmund and that. Borussia Dortmund only paid around 7 or 8 million for him from City, so Borussia Dortmund will make a huge profit on the player when they do let him go. But Dortmund, they give the overarching view on it, and they've actually confirmed that they do expect Jadon Sancho to leave at the end of the season and that. He is only the age of 20, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United like he did do last summer. And obviously Solskjaer in general anyway has got a lot of trustworthy in his young players. Like Solskjaer did confirm when he first came in, every player would get the chance to express themselves, which they have done. Obviously revealed at the start of this season that the young players will get given their opportunities in that. And we've got quite a few young players in their first seasons in the senior squad. But I'd love Jadon Sancho to come in anywhere because I think he'd succeed at Manchester United and he would complement our attacking line really, really well. He knows obviously Rashford really, really well because they're both English. And Sancho's a player that can create chances, he can score goals, his runs on and off the ball are very, very good. So I'd love Man United to sign him. He's now into his third season at Borussia Dortmund. He was dropped in a lot of games earlier on in the season, but I've been very, very impressed with him because I think he's done well at least in his past 2 seasons for them. Still got around 2 years left on his contract with Borussia Dortmund. So Jadon Sancho is our number one priority target for the summer, and he's predominantly a right winger, occasionally can play centrally in that. Obviously, Jude Bellingham is on Borussia Dortmund's agenda. Jude Bellingham is on Borussia Dortmund's agenda. They're actually seeing him as the adequate replacement for Jadon Sancho. But don't forget also Man United are in for Jude Bellingham. Munich, Chelsea, a lot of clubs have expressed their interest in Jude Bellingham. Like I updated you earlier on today, there was reports coming out of the media saying, that our recent contract offer for Jude Bellingham is worth less than Borussia Dortmund's bid, because reports did emerge out not too long ago saying we'd offered Bellingham around a £100,000 a week contract to convince him to come to Manchester United. Now, it has been revealed how much Jude Bellingham would cost. He would cost in the excess of around £30 million would Jude Bellingham. And that's actually a substantial amount for the player that's only 16 and he is still inexperienced in that. And I'll reiterate what I said. I'll reiterate definitely what I said. I don't think his Premier League standard as yet. I don't think he's at the elite level. I think he needs to be given at least another season in the Championship because this is Jude Bellingham's first season in the senior squad with Birmingham. Don't get me wrong, I give him a lot of credit because he's done really, really well in his first season with Birmingham and he has been a revelation as Jude Bellingham. So I've got to give him a lot of credit for that. And I think he's played around 30 odd games this season in the Championship. So he has been persistently playing. Don't forget he became the youngest player to represent Birmingham because he made his debut at the age of 16 years and 38 days, did the player. And he's expected to sign his professional contract this summer with Birmingham when he does turn 17 years of age. He's predominantly number 10, but he can also put him on the right-hand side. So, and it fueled a lot of speculation up the other week, when he come to visit our Carrington training ground. Obviously he met up with Sir Alex Ferguson. Obviously his parents had held negotiations with Ed Woodward and that. So yeah, he's definitely a priority target for the summer transfer window is Jude Bellingham. So hopefully we can get him on the board. But I don't think he's yet made a decision on his future. But I think he revealed that he'd rather come to Man United than Liverpool would Jude Bellingham. So yeah, so that's the news on him. Obviously, earlier on this week, by the way, I gave you the news, didn't I? Last week, should I say. I gave you the news on Thomas Lemar, didn't I? Because there was reports emerging out of the mainstream media saying that Manchester United had expressed an interest in Thomas Lemar. And it reportedly, said that, we'd been in negotiations with his representatives. Julian Lawrence from ESPN actually, did say that Thomas Lemar is likely to leave Atletico Madrid. He's likely to leave Atletico Madrid. And I think Thomas Lemar has got around 3 years left on his contract with Atletico Madrid. I think he has. I think he's under contract with them, if I'm right, until 2023. Now, I think he's been a flop at Atletico Madrid as Thomas Lemar since his arrival, was it in the summer of 2018. But my perceptions when he was at Monaco were totally comparison, because I thought he was exceptional at Monaco was Thomas Lemar. I think since his arrival at Atletico Madrid, he's made around 67 appearances in all competitions as the player. Don't forget, he's been linked with a move to the Premier League in the past because Arsenal, Liverpool have also been in for him. His versatility is very, very good. His Lemar, you can put him on the left-hand side, you can put him on the right-hand side, you can also play him through the centre. He's only the age of 24, is Thomas Lemar. So a lot of people believe, he would be a great addition to the squad if he was to come in. I obviously give you the news yesterday already, didn't I, on Maddison and Grealish. Nothing much more is updated about that from what I've read. I obviously give you the news on Harry Kane earlier on today. From Tottenham's perception, they don't think that Kane will leave Tottenham due to the coronavirus. So Tottenham are actually convinced that they can keep Harry Kane for this season at least. Tottenham did actually say they'd want around £250 million if they were to get rid of him. But I'm very sceptical that any team would pay £250 million for Harry Kane, if I'm going to be quite honest with you in that. So like I mentioned, there's a lot of players on Manchester United's agenda. Like I mentioned, I think around 4 to 5 players are going to leave Man United in the summer. Like I've already said to you now, I think Phil Jones is going to be leaving the football club in the summer. Jones can't get in the team anywhere, and he's been long servant here. But, you've obviously got Maguire and Lindelof that are our first choice centre-halves. You've got Bay and Tuanzebe that are obviously, backups to Maguire and Lindelof. And you've got Luke Shaw that's played as centre-half a couple of times. So there's no way that, Jones is going to get in there. So we need to get rid of him in the summer. I think Lingard and also too Andres Pereira, they'll both go in the summer because they're two liabilities. And I think we'll get rid of Sanchez and Rojo on permanent transfers because they're out on loan at the moment. So we'll get rid of around 5 players in the summer, definitely in that. But there's still a lot of players at Manchester United I would be determined to keep because, like I mentioned, a lot of players have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance. Like I mentioned, Shaw's really, really improved for Manchester United since he come back from injury, because don't forget Luke Shaw was out for around 2 months with injury, but since he's come back he's done really, really well as Luke Shaw, so I'll give him a lot of credit. Obviously, Lindelof's done really, very well. Very, very well. He's done well alongside Maguire in our back line. Lindelof struggled in his first season, but this season there's been a lot of aspects of his game that have improved. We paid 30 million for him from Benfica. Bay's done really, really well since he come back from injury. I've always rated Bay a lot. My only element of concern about him, that he is injury prone, and we paid £30 million him from Villarreal. I've been delighted with the signings that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recommended in. I've been delighted with Daniel James. I didn't expect him to play as many games to the extent as he has done, but he did really, really well when he first came in. Hasn't been his best in the last couple of months, but it was good to see Daniel James end his goal drought in the 5-0 win against Lask. So that was very, very good to see. And we only paid £15 million for Daniel James, but I think he's actually being one of our fastest players this season alongside Rashford. So I think Rashford and James have actually been our fastest players this season in the Premier League. As you all know, Marcus Rashford is out with a back injury at the moment, but you've got to say he's a big miss. But Saka's done really, really well. Regarded as one of the best right-backs in the Premier League. Probably nowhere near on Alexander-Arnold's level as yet, but I still think he's a very, very good right-back. Maguire, very, very good centre-half. Bruno Fernandes has definitely made a fantastic impact, and Bruno Fernandes has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. 3 goals and 4 assists, I think. Won the Premier League Player of the Month for February, and he's definitely making the difference in the team, is Bruno Fernandes. And I think Fernandes is like our 4th most expensive signing, but he's done really, really well. Definitely the best player we've recruited in since Ferguson, and we have recruited over 30-odd players in since the Ferguson era, but Fernandes has got to be the best, definitely. And I've been very, very impressed with Odion Ighalo. He's made a fantastic impact for the club as Odion Ighalo. I think we're actually going to get him on a permanent transfer in the summer, because don't forget Solskjaer did recently make an admission saying, we're going to decide to get him on a permanent transfer in the summer. At the moment, we've got him on loan, 6-month loan, and Man United are paying like a third of his wages. But Ighalo's already got 4 goals in 3 starts for the club, also provided a couple of assists. But Ighalo's totally comparison to our other attacking players. But like Solskjaer said, he's an option of a different type of centre forward, and he's the vocal point is Odion Ighalo. So credit the signing Solskjaer's brought in. Fred and McTominay have also impressed me. We're starting to see the best of Fred now. Never really saw the best of him under Mourinho because he never really got the chances under Mourinho. He was exceptional in Ukraine, but now we are starting to see the best of him. Manchester United, of course, paid £50 million for Fred. But him and McTominay in our midfield have really complemented each other fantastically well. Don't forget McTominay has just come back from injury not too long ago. Matic, I've also got to give him a lot of credit. He's done really, really well. Don't forget last week we extended, we put that 1 year extension on his contract. He deserves it, reflecting on his good run of performances. He isn't our first choice midfielder, Matic, but I've got to say, he's been absolutely exceptional recently in that. And he's in his third season now as a Man United player. Don't forget Man United paid £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2017. And he's made over 100 appearances for the football club and that. So, Martial's also done very, very well recently. Martial has been playing in the number 9 role this season, even though he predominantly plays on the left-hand side, Anthony Martial, But he's done really, really well recently, is Anthony Martial. There's been actually speculation of him possibly going to Inter Milan and that. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, no. But a lot of players have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance, definitely in that. And, he's now, recently, he's been getting the best out of the players, which is very, very good to see. But Solskjaer's still in the process of rebuilding this Man United team because he's inheriting, players, that have been brought in from other managers, like I mentioned and that. But I've already given you news anyway, and I am Paul Popper earlier on today. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.